host of Prestige and Property. I'm delighted to be in the presence of Mike Grossman, one of the most distinguished real estate agents here in Fort Lauderdale. He kindly invited us to this opulent waterfront home where you can see we're standing in Pompano with a breathtaking view of the Intercoastal Waterway. Even though it was raining, it's still beautiful. This is definitely a haven on the East Coast. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate that.
Before you tell us about this amazing home, I'd like to ask you a few questions just so that I can acquaint myself.
Fire away.
All right. First things first. Do you like sports?
I do a bit, but I'm not a fanatic. I like it sort of as a passive type of pastime, something to maybe have a cigar, have a cocktail with friends. But myself, I'm not an avid fan. But I do root for Florida teams.
That's good. So you're rooting for the Miami Heat tonight.
I'm rooting for them tonight, but more importantly right now,
yesterday.
I'm actually rooting for the Panthers to catch up in the Stanley Cup, because right now they're down one.
Yeah, the Heat are down one and the Panthers are down one, so we got to catch up.
Exactly.
So are you from South Florida?
No, originally I was born in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. Graduated high school in 1988 and moved down to Florida for school for a year, and here we go, almost 35 years later. I've made a great life.
That's awesome. Do you still root for the Tigers and the Lions?
When they're playing, when they're playing, and it has to do. It's kind of a hard decision right there out of loyalty. But no, I've been here longer than there, so actually no, I don't anymore.
I actually like Swift, but it's a bummer he went to the Eagles.
Yeah,
so.
True.
Well, I'd like to know some other things about you as well. So I'm going to ask you what your favorite part of being a real estate agent is.
Oh, that's a great question. Because I actually really enjoyed my career. I feel very lucky. I chose it on purposely, and I've been in it almost 22 years. I like it for a couple of different reasons. I like it because, first of all, a lot of times people need somebody they can trust to help them with their housing, buy, sell, or lease their, to find a new place. Sometimes they're changing a life. Maybe it's a divorce or a sad situation. I can help them move on to the next chapter, and then help them get the next place as well, and so on and so forth. And then also it helps because when you own real estate, I feel like I'm helping their financial future. The markets might go up and they might go down, as we've seen over the last 20 years, drastic changes. But ultimately, when you're in the right area, and especially a destination where there's constantly population growth, there'll be appreciation. Eventually, there'll be a new high. It's also a forced savings account because most people do use mortgages. Of course, we see a lot of cash buyers, but the people that are getting them paid off down the road, they're building equity. And ultimately, that mortgage payment is a partial tax write-off compared to rent, which usually just goes out in the wind.
Fair point.
Yeah.
And really, as a real estate agent, you've got to become friends with the buyers and the sellers.
It's funny you say that. If they have personality, if it's somebody that you can see having dinner with, having lunch with, spending extra time with, which most of our clients, were very lucky, become friends, and friends become clients. And the hardest part about that whole scenario is that when you have a wife or a husband or a significant other, they get tired because there's no off switch. Whenever you're socializing, there's always real estate that enters the equation because you're friends and your family, and people are always curious what the market's doing or what their house might be worth. So it goes from maybe going to a ball game, somebody takes you and they give you a couple of tickets, or going out on the boat, and all of a sudden somewhere along the line, there we go again in real estate. So there's no off switch, but I happen to love it. I live it, I breathe it. I feel very fortunate to have a good business with my business partner in it.
That makes two of us. I also love real estate, and even though I'm not an agent, I've been doing real estate marketing for 16 years.
Wow.
So I thought it was just me, but I'm always talking about real estate.
Yeah. Well, good.
Or
It's in your blood then.
Well, that brings me to my next question. What is the oddest request really, that a buyer has made for a showing?
I hate to say odd because they may end up eventually seeing this. I mean, we get all kinds of requests. There's your typical, can I bring my puppy in? And that's just commonplace now. There's everything from, can I come at sunrise? Can I come at sunset? I would like to see this and that feature of the home in different lighting. When it comes to northern Norwegians, they're so starved for sunlight because 2 months out of the year it's dark. Most of the year it's gray, with a few nice days in the summer that is a few weeks long. That when they're buying homes, it's kind of funny because they literally want to come back every 3 hours to see how light hits the house or the backyard all day long because they're starving for sunshine. It's kind of funny. So it all depends what people want. But there's been that. There's been, oh, I'd love to see the view from sitting in the pool. Well, come on back and jump in. Jump in the pool, see what it's like. Bring your boat. Sometimes they'll bring their boat to see what their boat looks like or what their car looks like in the garage, or different. So I don't want to say unusual, but it's just people have their nuances, their curiosities, and we're glad to solve them, as long as they're mostly legal.
Mostly. I'd love to learn a little bit more about your real estate career. I know you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. Well, I was very lucky. I actually lived on the water, an ocean access home, before I got a real estate license. So I'll tell you where that ties in a second. I was in a bit of a different business before, classic cars and motorcycles here in Fort Lauderdale, which was kind of neat because my business revolved around selling toys, if you will. So it was sort of a dream or a luxury. Well, when you sell waterfront, not everybody needs an ocean access house, but everybody would probably love to live on the water if it fit the other needs or in their finances and so on, if they could tie it all in. So I went from an industry where I was selling a lifestyle, selling a luxury, to ultimately a real estate where primarily our business is selling ocean access. We sell a little of everything down the line all year long. But it seems to be ocean access is probably a good 50% of our business, if not more. So it went from well, in most cases, a depreciating asset to something that's really more of a financial benefit for their future and appreciating, again, with the cycles of when you're ready to sell.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you think separates you when it comes to marketing, your marketing strategy, from other luxury agents in the area?
I'm not afraid to be myself. As my clients say, they know exactly where they stand with me. Sometimes they wonder why I'm not afraid to say certain things, but I'm just painfully honest. It is what it is. I'm not afraid to have a sense of humor. Most of our clients, once we get to know each other during the course of the first days or few days working together, we find we have commonalities and we bond and we start to become friends, although friends take time to really prove. And we just start running a little looser with each other and just being myself, understanding what I'm selling, and more importantly, not lying. A lot of agents don't lie purposely, they lie out of fear. What happens is a client or a prospective buyer or seller will ask them a question. They'll name a community and say, well, how many homes are for sale in that community today? Or what's the average price per square foot? And they're scared to say they may not know, but they'll get back to them. And sometimes they get caught in a lie because they come up with a number and I feel bad when people feel that they're pressured to lie instead of just the easiest thing to do is to try to lie your way out of something, but in the end it's going to catch you. Instead of just having the guts to say, I don't know, but let me get back to you on that. And sometimes that's a great icebreaker in the beginning with people. Yeah. They respect the honesty.
Yeah, and I want to learn a little bit about the tie-in with the car. I know you have a car and...
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. We have, and Sophia, knowing that I love classic cars, my business partner, she says, hey, come over to the house one day, let's meet at my house and go over some files. And I get to her house and there's this thing under a cover. And I walk by it and I don't even think twice about it. And she goes, well, go take the cover off that and see what we arranged. And all of a sudden, and I don't know if there's a way to show this, it's this 1950 red Chevrolet pickup truck, which is known around Broward County on East Side as the real estate pickup truck. It sits on Atlantic at a restaurant that lets us keep it there. And I drive it around sometimes weekends into open houses and different things. And that happens to be one of our nuts and bolts on the ground things. I have a kayak I tow out and I put out during the week in certain areas, things that a lot of people don't do. We sell ocean access real estate, so if people own a boat, they know the difference between the red light and the green light, or port and starboard. Make little koozies that when you put it on your beverage, not that I'm saying that you should be drinking more and more alcohol, but when you put it on your beverage, it's supposed to look like a bow light. And I'm sort of this guy. And then Sophia does all the smart technical things, but I run around and sort of, it's like running for city commissioner, but you're doing something a little different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super interesting. And I bet you're the only one that does that.
I can guarantee, so far I haven't met another.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to know a little bit about this house, but before we go and tour it, I did want to know it's not on the market right now. So what is it going to be on the market for?
It's going to be on the market for $6 million. It's been renting as a vacation rental or short-term rental at $35,000 a month, or I should say up to, because it's ranged that depending on the time of year, season and off season. But it will be going up for sale now for $6 million as soon as certain updates are completed.
Yeah, and you can probably hear we've got the roof being worked on, and
I apologize about the construction noise. They're tearing off a tile roof as we speak, and that's there's a reason that the roof is being replaced.
And I know you're going to paint it as well.
Yep, in and out, so it's fresh and pops.
Amazing. And so how long a house that's in the $6 million range right now, how long do you expect it to go from listing to sold?
If we do this right, which we have a plan and we're doing it right, and we have the client that understands how to do business and what to do, it should be around 90, 95 days is usually what it'll take us with the given when all the circumstances are proper and ready to go.
Yeah, and I know that price plays a huge role, but there's times where the seller or there's other reasons. When a listing does become stagnant, what do you do to revive it?
Well, there's a few things. One is that you try to, the easy way and the correct way, really, I hate to say it, price is always the sticky point. If something is priced right, it's going to sell unless there's some kind of an extraordinary circumstance why nobody wants that property, right? So sometimes you just adjust the price. And what happens when you adjust the price on the multiple listing service and then it shoots out to Zillow and Realtor.com and so on, is it'll trigger on a hot sheet for people looking, and they'll be brought up to speed on the new pricing, and then sometimes that'll revive it. That has to be done anyways, because if it's overpriced, it's not selling. It's just the way it is. So that's really rule number one. And number two is try to find out, because you ask, we always, when somebody looks at the house or an agent shows the house, the next day we say, could we have some feedback? What'd your client think of it? What do you think of it? Well, if you keep hearing that the house smells like an animal, or if you keep hearing that it looks tired for the price, or that they don't like the fact that they see a stain that makes them worry about that there's a plumbing leak, or whatever it is, listen. That feedback is important to say, okay, we need to tune up our program and get this thing where it's marketable, or we're going to have to give it away on a fire sale or on a distress sale, for a tired sale is what I call it.
And I know we talked about one of the sort of unconventional things that you do is the fact that you bring agents and you kind of offer them that bonus.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yes, we do. Sometimes when something gets stale, the agents, the public, people go, well, there must be something wrong with it. So they kind of lose steam, they lose enthusiasm towards it. So the way to revive that is appeal to the agent's greed and say, okay, now, hey guys, here we go, hey gals. Now, if you bring somebody that can close, and you have to have a certain definitive date and they have to close within 45 days of today. You have to, by this date. Then all of a sudden they go, wow, I can make an extra 10 grand if I go sell that house. Let me get on the phone to my clients and tell them how excited I am again about it and why. And great, and you get your sales force cooking again out there. And just because they don't work for you, or just because they're neighbors or friends or whatever, that's all your sales force. So you're always an agent, if they're smart, is always trying to get everybody involved with their listings. We'll throw a party just to have people come in, because let's say 50 people come to a party or 25. That becomes their sales force. Those people are out the next week, they're at their offices, they're talking to clients, they're dealing with their patients, whatever it is. And all of a sudden somebody will be saying, I'm looking for a house and my agent can't find me a house, or whatever the deal is. And all of a sudden they'll say, a friend of ours invited us to this house last week, and you would love this. Next thing you know, you have a whole sales force with antennas out there, as long as they happen to have your house in mind. You never know who tells somebody about your new listing or your old listing or whatever it is.
Yeah, collaborations always work, even
Absolutely.
Whether it's with agents or, like you said, if you have an event and you bring, some fancy cars over,
Yep.
whatever it is,
Yeah,
it's always a good trick.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about the house?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the address is 2584 Southeast 2nd Street in Pompano Beach. So we're 12 blocks south of Atlantic Boulevard, and we're all the way at the Intercoastal. And we're thrilled to have this house for many reasons. One is it's a point lot, which we'll get to in a minute. So it has 230 feet of waterfront. Almost feels like you're on your own partial island once you get halfway into the house and then outside. It has these dramatic dueling staircases, which a lot of luxury homes have staircases, but not all of them have the dueling ones or the dramatic dual cases, and I'll tell you what, people fall in love with it. They just love that dramatic sort of wow factor. You know, that's what separates it from 4.5 million to 6 million, is when you start getting the wow factor. So the dueling cases do it. If you walk a little closer in, and when we do, you'll see that there's, and maybe you can even see from there, the ceilings soar up to 26 feet depending on what part of the house you're in. So they go from about 11 to 26 feet, again, depending on what part of the house you're in. And it has lots of windows, so it's light and bright naturally all day long, pending weather, and pending the time of day, of course, all day long. But there's a few features. There's a great pool area out back. There's a master main bedroom area that you could practically land a Cessna in the closet, as well as the bathroom, and so on and so forth.
It sounds great, and I'm excited to see it, really. And I like that you had mentioned that there's 2 masters, so to speak.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that concept.
Almost every bedroom has its own bathroom. So it's actually a 6-bedroom, 5-bath, and then there's another half bath, which is right there, the cabana that services the pool deck and so on.
It's very nice, from what I've seen so far. So I know you've seen tons of luxury homes. So do you think that then the staircase is one of the features that really stands out to you?
Yeah, many times over the 20 some odd years, I've had people specifically say, I want a house with dual staircases. They want that certain wow.
Well, I myself, and if I was a client of yours, you'd probably sell me on the bathroom, which I haven't seen yet, but I say it all the time. I'm a bathroom
You're gonna love
person.
the main one. You're gonna love all of them, because they're all, the bathrooms have been updated, so they're all quite nice.
Awesome, so I'm excited to take a look.
Plenty of room for the couple to brush their teeth individually without getting on each other's nerves. And of course you have a separate tub. Lay there, enjoy the natural lighting during the day if one can take the day off, and just enjoy the ambiance of a bedroom fitting a home like this. Well, the kitchen was updated just about 3 years ago or so, and it has a Sub-Zero refrigerator, Bosch dual stove, oven, things that you would expect in a luxury home. What you really have here, which almost no other home will have, is because of the aisle sticking out farther here on 12th Street than the one on 13th just to our south, is you actually get more of a water view. Traditionally, the point lot, which is celebrated as the premium lot on any aisle, is great, but usually when you look to the opposite side of the canal, you're looking at a house. Here, over this way, you end up literally having more of a water view and being able to look down the intercoastal as well as out to the intercoastal. So that's what separates this house from many other point lots. So here in the living room, you not only have 26-foot high soaring ceilings, but you have an expansive water view. You'll see on 3 sides, it doesn't matter where you look, at least in 3 different directions, you're looking at water, water, and water. And of course, we have a nice pool deck, expansive as well. You can do lots of entertaining here. Also a pool, built-in spa, and it does have 230 feet of waterfront, of which the seawall and concrete dock were freshened up, and a new one was installed. I believe it was about 4 years ago. So up here we have a long, expansive catwalk that runs from one side of the home to the other, or from one of the bedrooms over to the main bedroom over on the southeast corner. Every room has great natural lighting during the day, and every room has its own bathroom and has a fantastic water view, which is really what most of it's about. You can sit in your bed, no matter where you're at and which room you're at, and enjoy the water view during the day, read the paper in the morning, or however one wants to spend time. So the closets for the main bedroom here, there are 2, and it all depends on how the couple wants to divide them up. I've learned not to assume that his is going to be smaller than hers or vice versa and so on. So this one, which is the minor of the 2, is fitted out and built out. And this one, for whoever does have more of a substantial wardrobe, can accommodate almost anybody's needs.
I promise that would be me.
This is the size of some bedrooms in certain areas.
Yeah. Yeah, I need all the shoe space.
So come on, and we're going to take a look at the balcony now, if that's good, because you're going to love the expansive balcony that runs the distance. So the balcony runs from the main bedroom all the way around the house as far as to the final bedroom, on at least for the top floor. You have you have east, I should say, direct east all the way to southeast, which is fantastic. And because of the lot, and because when you get a certain way out in the backyard, you have beautiful sunsets depending on the time of year. I've seen them here, and they're just outstanding. But you can have plenty of room for furnishings, for lounges, for lots of outdoor living from the second floor. So you've got the best view as far as for the property. See, it goes on and on and on. Or if you have some children that like to play hide and seek, they will love this house too.
Thank you, Mike, for showing us this beautiful house.
Oh, it was a pleasure having you, and look forward to seeing you again on the trail.
Thank you.
My pleasure.